Hello, I'm Georg and welcome to the video. Today we're looking at two different replacement bridges for the Jaguar or Jazzmaster for that matter. Then I'll show you the difference between the quality roller bridge and the Chinese knockoff. After that I will install a secondary tone capacitor and we'll compare the sounds. And finally I will demonstrate the active buffer that I put into my Jaguar. So let's go. Alright, so the story is nobody seems to like the original bridge that came with the Fender Jaguar or Jazzmaster because it had those weird saddles, and if you play too hard the strings would jump off the saddles and stuff like that. So people have been replacing the bridges ever since. There are lots of great bridge comparison videos on YouTube, also lots of terrible ones, but what they're usually not getting into are the roller bridges, because these require you to drill bigger holes into your guitar, so it's a permanent modification. But still there are lots of fans of these kind of bridges, not just on Jaguar Jazzmaster but also Bixby guitars. Alright, so the bridge I've been using so far is this kind of Jazzmaster bridge, except it has proper saddles with a crease in the middle so the string stays in place. All saddles are height adjustable. And the whole thing, it's a rocking design, so it's moving with the tremolo arm back and forth. This means there's no friction of the strings because the whole bridge is moving. However, these bridges seem to be quite rare. There's only one shop on the internet I've seen these, which is on warmoff.com, and otherwise you might just find Mustang bridges which look similar, except they don't have saddle height adjustment screws, so they only fit a specific fretboard radius. And the roller bridge on the other hand is stationary, this one doesn't move, and instead it has rollers, obviously, to reduce string friction. So all of this is intended to help with the tuning stability when using this vintage style vibrato. Okay, I've put the main sound comparison in the beginning of the video because that's usually the most interesting part before the long blah blah blah. And I have to say, I expected a much bigger difference. I thought, the roller bridge would be better, but now I don't know. I think the differences you hear is just because I didn't play it exactly the same way, because I'm not a robot. But let's test one more thing. Online some people said that roller bridges kill your harmonics, so let's compare the harmonics. Alright, so I think the harmonics are pretty much the same, and I put this foam behind the bridge because it seemed the string vibration behind the bridge is interfering with the harmonics, so it was slightly better with the foam on both bridges. Alright, so the final pros and cons are: roller bridge requires you to drill new holes, the other one is a direct replacement. I've noticed no difference in tuning stability. Then big advantage of the roller bridge is it's super smooth on top, so this is really nice for palm muting. The vintage style bridge on the other hand has those string height adjustment screws poking into your hand, but I think I will just fix that by sawing off at the correct length. Then, since the roller bridge is stationary, setting the intonation was a bit easier, because with the vintage style bridge you need to make sure that it's not shifting in any direction while you're setting the intonation. To sum it up, I expected a bigger difference with the roller bridge, but since it's basically the same, I will stay with the vintage bridge and I will just fix those string height adjustment screws so the palm muting will feel nice. Alright, so now there will be no more issues when palm muting. Alright, a quick word about the Chinese knockoff version of the roller bridges. Those can be found on eBay for about $6 or $7 or euros. They look like they're pretty much the same thing, except they got some issues. So the first issue I've got with the Chinese version was that one saddle wasn't flush with the bridge. This was easily fixed with some tools. But then When looking closer at the rollers of the Chinese version, you can tell they're flat at the bottom, which means, for example, the high E string could wiggle around in it. And here the rollers of the Quality bridge with a proper crease in the middle so the string would stay in place. And then, you won't believe this, but the posts that come with it, they don't fit in there. They send it with 2 large posts. So avoid the Chinese bridge, get the real one by Wilkinson, Boston Guitar Parts, whatever. I think they're all rebranded and might have been made in the same factory. Next mod, we'll install a secondary tone capacitor. So a regular Jaguar would have a secondary darker sounding tone circuit up here, but I've used those switches to do all kinds of pickup combinations. So to have this secondary darker tone circuit, I will just use a push-pull tone knob to switch between a normal tone capacitor and this darker tone capacitor. Alright, so let's compare the sound of each of these capacitors. And now the final topic is the active buffer. So this one has a built-in electronic circuit. I took that out of a pedal board buffer and I fit it in here. It needs a 9-volt battery, and what it does, it retains the high treble frequencies, or it almost seems like it's boosting the treble. So it gives you some really hi-fi clean sounds. Alright, so that might seem too trebly for most applications, but I left the amp settings the same for all the examples in the video for comparison's sake. So for example, when recording with the buffer, I think you would tweak the sound accordingly. Yeah, so I think it's a feature that can be useful sometimes. Alright, so I hope this was useful information to somebody. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Also in the main video I didn't have time to install these string trees, because there's nothing better than having permanently lubricated nuts and saddles.